you better stop talking about this Jesus talking about he died, or we gonna kill you. But they couldn't. They couldn't deny the truth. Why? Because I touched him. I put my hands on him. I saw him. If I had not saw him, I would be like Peter. I would be denying him. But when Peter saw him, this was the same Peter that was preaching boldly in Acts. What happened? What caused him to have this change? When he died, they were scared, running for their lives, shivering, trying to flee the city. But when they saw his resurrected body, they were bold. Spirit had showed up. They knew it was true. And they went to their deaths knowing it was true. They died. They did not deny. And last thing, here it is. There was a disregard for tradition. Did you know that the Jewish culture, they worshiped for 1,400 years on Saturday? Why did it change? Guess when he rose? And so now, Jews were not prone to eating pork. Norman Geisler, well-known New Testament scholar, says Jews started making pork chop sandwiches. And was in there dropping the pork in the grease. And so tonight, I just want to give you a shield of faith. The disciples did not mind self-incriminating themselves or even writing shameful things that could have made Jesus look bad. Why? Because they were trying to show you and demonstrate that they were telling the truth. That historical people and places have been corroborated through archaeological finds. Paul says, check it out. Go investigate. There was an eyewitness nature in the text. We found that in 2 Peter 1 and 16. There was a low status of the women. So when we see anything about the women making the discovery of the tomb and then going to tell the disciples, and we see things like that in this literature, it gives us more reliability that what they're saying is true. Because I would not put that in there if I wanted you to believe that during that time. Nowadays, we have women preachers, we have this and that. And so it's not uncommon to see women. Women are not in a low status, so to speak, here. I think we got a new women judges that just got voted in. It's not that the same low status as in the ancient Greco-Roman world of the first century. And D, we had 6 of those. We noticed that there was some disharmony in the Gospels and in certain New Testament texts. They left in difficult sayings of Jesus. They left in demanding sayings of Jesus. There was a distinction between the words of the writers and the words of Jesus. There was death without denying. They did not deny what they were preaching, even if it meant their death. And they totally disregarded tradition of the Jews upon that. So when we look at the scripture of the New Testament and we see things like that, we can be assured that it is reliable. And then we can also have an answer to better shield against some of the objections that we may come across when we evangelize and try to spread the gospel. So I do want us to be prepared. That's all I had tonight. Amen. Any questions? Any comments? Any uncertainties?
My question.
Come on, Pastor.
We got Christians
Uh-huh.
and we got Jews.
Uh-huh.
The Christians take the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
but the Jews stopped at the Old Testament, right?
You have, what do they call it? I think Messianic Jews, or not Messianic Jews, or Jews who don't believe that Christ is actually coming.
Right, that's what I'm
So they don't, the New Testament is,
They got the Old Testament,
uh-huh.
and they adhere
Mm-hmm.
to the Old Testament without going to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when we give an argument for our belief in the New Testament,
Uh-huh.
then how do we just believe in the Old Testament and we're further than that. So what is our response?
To be honest, I'm not totally aware. What I would do is I would try to understand what their reasoning is for not believing in the New Testament. And if it's for any of these reasons we discussed tonight, you may have a chance to open up a discussion. But what I would try to do, it seems like, based on the question, is to draw a parallel of how the Old Testament is actually speaking or giving credibility to the New Testament, and try to make parallels between the New and the Old Testament. Because from what I understand, those Jews just don't believe that Jesus has actually come. And I know during the Old Testament, the first century, they were expecting a different type of Messiah than the one who came. And so they're looking for a rule to be established at that time under the Roman government. They wanted Jesus to come through with the hammer and the sword, and right here on earth. But you see Jesus saying things, my kingdom is not of this world. My kingdom, behold, the kingdom of God is at hand. And he's talking about the kingdom, but their idea or concept of the Messiah was, we're looking for somebody to get us from under this Roman government bondage. What's up? If you're the Messiah, that's what we expect. And Jesus comes in humble, humility, and then let alone the shamefulness of being crucified. So that's what I would do, is try to draw a parallel to that. I think you tread in a little deeper water there too, Pastor. That would take a little more reading, I think a little more effort. Did you have a suggestion?
No, I'm just.
Oh.
I'm just providing.
Look, I don't know. That's what I would try to do. I would try to draw a parallel to show them that the Old Testament is actually leading into the New Testament, and trying to draw those parallels of Jesus. And I think Jesus. I have a book, Jesus in the Old Testament. It's just going through the Old Testament, showing areas of where Jesus was actually talked about. I know Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Genesis 3 and 15 deals with the first prophecy of Christ coming in. So things like that I think would help. I think anybody else have an answer or a question?
Okay, the New Testament introduces the coming of Jesus.
No, he's here in the New Testament.
The resurrection.
Yes.
Okay, so is your question in layman terms, because it was above my head, was your question, what do we say for those who do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God? Is that what your question?
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
question.
understanding the question.
Well, my question is, or my dilemma is that, and we know what the Old New Testament says about all Israel will be saved. So God has a plan there. But when we run across a Jewish person who stops at just the last book of
The Old Testament.
And that's their belief. That's what they've been trained. And they've been trained for generations and generations and generations. And that's their belief, and they're not going any further than that. But as an evangelist, if we come into contact, then we have to have an argument, like you say, for our belief in the New Testament, in Jesus Christ, and to be able to show Jesus in the Old Testament scriptures. And that's where you're going to be breaking down walls. And that's where you have to know what you know about the New Testament before you can even perform an argument or get into an argument with them or a discussion with them about Jesus in the Old Testament. You got to know what you're talking about in the New Testament.
This kind of stuff excites me. I boil over with this kind of stuff, but I know how it is. We come to church Sunday after Sunday, and we really, the average Christian, we feel that because we come to church and everything's good, and that's it. But if we had to complete a questionnaire about some of the specifics of our faith. I just really wonder how we would do. And, you know, we have to be,
So much out there, I mean,
yeah, we are in the information age. We're in the information age. Yes.
I just had one comment. I think it's good, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate all our teachers here. I feel like we need to study our word and know it just as well as others may know their text, and that's an issue, not knowing what's in the Bible. And the other thing is, I feel like my job is to spread the word, but I can't force it down someone's throat.
Right.
Then I'm doing what God is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so I should spread the word,
Yeah.
but be aware of how you're spreading the message, because that can push people away.
1 Peter 3:15 says, be ready to give a defense but in meekness and humility. So our disposition as Christians, you know, some people, and I've been guilty of that. I've gotten into discussions on Facebook I probably should not have, but I get heated when I see somebody. Don't post no comment talking about the Bible ain't true. This is what I studied. This is my life. I studied this. And so I'm going to be on top of you. But some discussions are meant to be had in private and not public. And then sometimes your character can display that of you not being a Christian. And so people are going to not hear your words, but they're going to look at your response and like, see, he misrepresented Jesus. Even though everything I said was on point, you know, it's the way I did not come and represent Christ well. So I totally agree, and I thank you for that comment. I thank you for that comment. Any other comments or questions? Let me encourage you all. This was a different type of lesson. I know some of my young adults, they may get used to it a little bit. We just did 4 weeks on the resurrection. So they either tired of the resurrection or they ready for the resurrection. So one or the other. But I'm grateful to God that we're able to have this apologetic discourse on tonight. And remember, we're not apologizing for anything, but 1 Peter 3:15 just simply tells us to be ready to give an defense for what it is, our hope, our faith, what we believe. And so I look forward to yet another opportunity. Maybe I think next time, Pastor, we should deal with the Old Testament, because they're two different things, but they're still one and the same. The Bible is 66 individual books. We put it together in this Bible. Amen. So we got to look at that. But that gives more reliability. No, we're not going to do that. Let us stand. Pray out. Thank you all for being here tonight. I hope I didn't